Salutations, Legion of Doom. Welcome to Podcast The Storm, where social awkward outcasts, crazy weirdos, and all around nerds convene, talk, and debate all things pop culture. With me, as always, is my host, the nerdy occultist, aka the authenticator, Dalton L. Mortimer.
Good evening, everyone. Comic-Con has gifted us all the trailers, so it's a trailer week.
And I am your host slash Time Lord wannabe, the brains from pop culture. How's everyone doing tonight?
I am doing mostly okay, although now that Brainstormer and I were bouncing ideas back and forth before the show, as we do, and now my brain
And now
is
your brain's
going,
working.
yeah, on 100 different directions because reasons. Oh,
Now you know how
boy.
I feel. Now you know how I feel every day.
Yes,
Okay.
and someday maybe we should do something about that because you might have pissed off someone at some point and gotten the freaking Richard Maddock curse put on you. But for now, it's useful, and you haven't started harming yourself over it yet. So there.
All right, give me 1 second. I'm getting the thing ready.
Mm-hmm.
I found out Gerard Way. Sorry, this is something I randomly found like last night. Gerard Way had a pitch of making a Batman comic like a decade or so ago.
Remind me who that is. His name is familiar, but my brain is doing other things at the moment.
Lead singer of My Chemical Romance, writer of well, also the owner and creator of DC's Young Animal imprint,
Right.
and
Okay. Yeah.
writer and creator of the Umbrella Academy comics.
Ah, that would have been interesting. I don't know if it would have been good, but it would have at least been interesting.
Yeah, it was called Batman Kingdom of the Mad. Whole pitch was basically if Bruce Wayne, like after his parents were killed, he was immediately put into Arkham Asylum.
Okay, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's a better reason as to why that happened in the actual story. It's just I don't know why he would have been
Mentally disturbed. Psychiatry needs, he needs help. All that shit.
right. But Arkham is a asylum for the criminally insane, not just the
Well, that's
insane
only.
in general.
To be fair, this was pre Batman. All that. That was like this was like when Bruce was young, before even Batman really became a thing.
But isn't there another mental institution in the DC universe that's known for doing the actual like normal shit?
Again, this wasn't
What?
Elseworlds. This was an Elseworlds.
Well,
story.
yeah, but I want to say John was stuck in it in the pilot of Constantine, the TV show, and I can't remember the name of it right now.
That could have just been for the show there,
Right, but no, they used the name of the other mental institution in the DC universe. I just don't remember off the top of my head. That's gonna bug me.
Yeah, always gotta take the fun out of everything, man.
I am sorry, but if your fun requires me not to think about shit, your fun should not survive. The best fun is the fun that gets better the more you think about it, not worse.
Hello, Gimna Gray.
Ah, welcome back. It has been a while since we saw you, but you are still very much welcome here.
Not sure what Sunnybrook means.
That might have been the name of the thing I was thinking of.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think it was. Wasn't it? I could have sworn it was like Ravencroft or something along those lines.
That's Marvel.
Okay, never mind. But thank you for attempting to fill in the void in my brain, Gimna. But in any case, On with the many trailers that Comic-Con bequeathed unto us.
Hmm. Oh no, Elhurst. I don't know.
Okay, there we go.
All right, but yeah, it's a trailer week.
Mhm.
Um, starting off with the thing, starting off with what Dalton hates the most in terms of movies.
Yeah, the next visual effects demo of Hollywood is coming out, folks.
Excuse me.
And I'm still annoyed that there's no story or characters attached to it.
Um,
That isn't just Fern Gully plus Dances with Wolves um plus Pocahontas plus In Space.
see again, I'm not. I think the thing you mean to say, Dalton, more so is there are no characters that are attention grabbing, or
Well, okay, here's the thing. I guess we're starting before we even start playing the trailer today. We are as of right now, as of the trailer we are about to watch, this is the third movie in the James Cameron's Avatar franchise. I still don't know anything about Jake or Natiri or their kids as like actual people. Like what motivates them as characters? What do they enjoy doing when the plot isn't happening to them, etc. and so on. Like
um,
what are Jake Sully's defining character traits other than I fell in love with a woman from an alien tribe and decided that their culture was better. And as of the second movie, he kind of borrowed from the uh, Mission Impossible family motif. But like, what motivates Jake Sully as an individual? What motivates Neytiri as an individual? The one we know probably the most about at the moment is the second son, the one that was going through his emo phase in the second movie and made friends with the whale.
Noak.
Yeah, and honestly, I didn't foresee this happening, but we also kind of know more about what motivates Quaritch than we do about what motivates Jake and company. Because most of the second movie was about he regrets not being a good father to his son while he was, human, and is trying to make things better between them, all the while still wanting to murder all the Na'vi because he's still a cliched hoorah Marine, and so on. But yeah, we actually know slightly more about the villain of the piece than we do about the hero of the piece. Now, granted, that's not the most uncommon thing in the universe, because that frequently happens especially when the main character is really more of a blank slate for the audience to project themselves upon than a character in their own right. But it is somewhat vexing that we are now about to be 3 movies into the franchise, and we've basically only got like 1 1/3 movies worth of content out of it. Movie one was he falls in love with his alien squeeze there and decides to change sides. What of substance actually happened in Avatar: The Way of Water other than they changed sides, or they changed tribes rather, for reasons, and Quaritch came back to life in a Na'vi form? Like, aside from those 2 things, not much has really been explained or elaborated upon. For example, in the first movie, the MacGuffin du jour was unobtainium, but we ever even learn what humanity at large is actually using or wants to use obtainium for, or any of the properties of it that make it, such a rare mineral that we have to go to an alien world in order to get it. Because I don't think we ever actually learned, like, mechanically what unobtainium was used for. And in the second movie, because they moved from deforestation motif to whaling motif, we got the, brain fluid from the whales that apparently has the power to stop human aging. But they probably didn't know that before they got to Pandora for the sake of getting the unobtainium. So are they still wanting the unobtainium? Have their desire for unobtainium been completely subsumed by the desire for the immortality goo from the whale brains? When did they find out about the whale brain goo? Considering that it's not exactly the most normal thing in the world to do, to randomly stick a syringe into a dead whale corpse brain and decide, I'm gonna inject myself with this. But my broader point is that we're almost a full trilogy into this franchise, and we know practically nothing. We know nothing that could not have been explained in a opening exposition crawl about the world in which we are currently inhabiting.
I feel like, okay, I think I've said this before when we watched the Way of Water trailers. Wait, did we?
We did.
Okay. I legitimately think it would have helped if there was some type of series that came out in between the movies that helped both build the lore, world, and establish characters and stuff like that.
But the thing is, there was no call to do anything like that because despite the movie making all the money it was possible to make at the time, Avatar, James Cameron's version, has no cultural imprint whatsoever. There are really no theory videos about Avatar. There are no lore channels directly devoted to James Cameron's Avatar lore. There's no speculatory Reddits or any
Yes,
for all that James Cameron bitches and moans about the MCU being formulaic and blah 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 blah. At least there was a subculture devoted to the MCU or superhero genre more generally. I don't think there really is an equivalent for James Cameron's Avatar because, frankly, the people who talk the most about James Cameron's Avatar are the people who hate it. The people who think it's a vacuous waste of time, energy, and resources. You hear more from the people who bitch about it than you do from the people who like it.
I think, to be fair, I think that's where it depends on where you're looking at. Sorry.
Bless you.
Thank you. Hello, Jonah. You're just catching Dalton doing what he always does, which is being a very negative person all the time. Not unwarranted, but you are always negative. Let's be fully honest.
Because good things can actually stand up to criticism. Bad things require you to turn your brain off, TM, and I don't do that.
You don't do
anyway,
a lot of things.
We've already bitched about Avatar probably more than we realistically should have before watching the trailer. So into the trailer we go, Banana.
Yeah, let me get to the tab. Also, hello, Jonah. How you doing? All right, yeah. Is there? I can't think of anything.
Again, there is next to no actual imprint from James Cameron's Avatar. When most people hear the name Avatar, they think of they think of Last Airbender or, regrettably, Korra. They do not think of James Cameron, and they probably never will because we're almost 3 movies in, and I couldn't tell you much about James Cameron's Avatar franchise that isn't just Noble Savage bullshit plus sci-fi. Anyway, banana.
Yeah. I mean, visually it looks good.
Not in any way that's actually distinctive, though, because I've maintained this for years as well. Man, photorealistic naturalism really shot James Cameron's Avatar in the foot. Because what you end up with is he could have literally made Pandora look like anything he could imagine. With all the CG budget he had, he could make Pandora look like anything under the sun and several things that are not under it. But instead of doing that, he aped the like photorealistic naturalism of a nature documentary, and as a result, Pandora is one of the most generically quote unquote pretty things ever to show on screen. It's like a giant it's like a Animal Planet screensaver instead of an actual distinct world with its own distinct aesthetic, species, and like fauna and shit. It's just a photorealistic like nature documentary of a generically beautiful alien world with no distinctive qualities of its own. But I will say, in terms of the CGI rendering, it does look better rendered than Way of Water did. Which I remember when we did review the Way of Water trailer. That was one of the things that stuck out to me the most, was that the first James Cameron's Avatar actually looked better than Way of Water. But this one seems to look relatively on par with the first one so far, but I will reserve judgment until we finish the trailer.
John Arts, I want to know more about the world and how it functions, since it's interesting as an alien world. I kind of don't really care about the human issues of the film. I want to know more of the world and her people. Oh, hi, Giant Turtle. Good to see you.
Yeah, that I agree, Jonah. The things that are relatively interesting about Pandora as a setting have to do with like the quasi spirituality of the Na'vi and their like quasi Gaian nature goddess there, which we are eventually going to get more on because Sigourney
Kiri.
Weaver's daughter character is
Kiri.
supposed to basically be um a like immaculately conceived uh avatar of the off-brand
Awa.
Gaia in the same way that
Awa.
Jesus is supposed to be of Yahweh. Yeah. So we are going to eventually, assuming that this franchise doesn't stop making oodles of money eventually, we are eventually going to get into the quasi spirituality of the Na'vi and the their like mother goddess there, but we haven't yet, and we're already on the third movie. This is the thing. Like when I first saw this trailer, I went through my head and I went, okay, what do most other franchises know about their respective worlds and characters by the time we get to the third movie? And I couldn't think of another trilogy that was so empty that we only got the vaguest gist of what the world is like by the time of the third movie. Anyway, banana.
All right. Come on.
The strength of the ancestors is here.
Okay, well. Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Stuff was weird on my end for a second there.
No, you're good.
Okay. Okay, maybe it's just me and I've done editing stuff. I kind of wish the grading, like, there was a little more contrast to stuff. Like, it's not bad.
Yeah. I agree. It would help if things stood out more.
Like, a little darker the shadows and stuff.
More vibrant, the actual colors, etc.
Okay, hold on. Here's the funny thing about the Avatar movies. They have around 100,000 page story Bible with how all of it works and all the cultures of Pandora that we are yet to see. They made 1,000 pages for just an airship that we see.
Okay, but why hasn't any of that been communicated in the course of either of the first two movies? Why are we? Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just reading the thing that just came up. So they really went all in for the lore of Pandora than anything else.
But again, I must ask the question: if you have this, 10,000 page story Bible, James, why hasn't any of that been communicated to the audience? And why haven't any of the stories we've been told so far in this setting been centered on any of that? Because, like I said earlier, we still don't know what made Unobtainium so special that they needed to go halfway, to the other end of the solar system to get. Because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Pandora is supposed to be a moon of one of the gas giant planets in the solar system, right?
I think, is it Saturn or Jupiter?
It's one of the ones that has all the fucking moons. But even most like casual people who watch the Avatar movies probably don't even know that, because like they never use the fact that Pandora is supposed to be a moon that's also in our solar system to their advantage. Like, for the sake of world building, for the sake of storytelling, or for the sake of characters. I think they mention it once in the course of the first Avatar and never bring it up again, that Pandora is supposed to be a moon of, I want to say it was Saturn.
Hold on. I'm looking it up. Oh no, it's a extrasolar moon from the Alpha Centauri system.
Okay, so we were wrong. So never mind. But
it's the fifth moon of the gas giant Polyphemus.
Okay, but in any case, none of that has actually had any impact on the plot whatsoever.
Well, that takes
none of the 10,000 pages of lore of the Avatar franchise has made it into either the actual story that was shown on screen or pretty much any of the cultural memory of the franchise itself. And that's one of the reasons why I despise this franchise. Because despite the fact that it's using all the resources at James Cameron's disposal, the story he's choosing to tell with those resources amounts to sweet fuck all. Anyway, Banana. Unless you had anything else to say.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm looking at comments. Okay, there we go. Yeah, moon from 100,000 pages. A moon from 12 light years away. It was never in our system. Unobtainium is a room temp superconductor, and something about that helping with an energy crisis and environmental collapse. Took humans 10 years. Jonah Arts. Took humans 10 years to get to that moon and send things back from Alpha Centauri.
Okay. I'm assuming you learned that information in the 100,000 page story Bible, Jonah, because maybe it's just been a long ass time since I watched the first one, but I don't think any of that was conveyed in the first one.
And I've also been told why it was important in the first film.
Okay, but it apparently ceased being important as of the second movie because I don't think it's even mentioned in the second movie. The only MacGuffin at play in the second movie was the brain fluid from the super intelligent whales. Because James Cameron decided that rather than being a deforestation analog like the first movie was, he wanted it to be a whaling analog. And I assume that this one is probably going to be a forest fire or volcano natural disaster analog because of all the fire people nonsense.
First 25 minutes explained it.
Okay, so it did get a mention in the first movie, and then promptly proceeded to have absolutely no impact on the further events of that first movie or the second one. Despite the fact that James Cameron had a fucking decade between the first one and the second one, where he could have, done literally anything to incorporate any of those 100,000 pages into the actual storytelling or plot of the movie. Anyway, Banana.
Hold on. Okay. I don't know.
You cannot live like this, baby. In hate.
Oh. Sorry.
I'd like to believe that the Ash people would actually have some interesting philosophical discussions about how destruction is a part of the natural cycle, but I get the terrible impression that they're just going to be generically evil, destructive Na'vi, so that Quaritch can adopt them in the same way Jake adopted the tree people and then the sea people, respectively. Because you could do really interesting like metaphysics with the like nature-based religion of the Na'vi if James Cameron was ever interested in doing any of that shit. But I get the firm impression that instead of the Ash people's point being destruction is a part of the natural cycle where you have to make room for both creation and destruction, we're going to get they're salty because their forest burnt to the ground because volcano.
Well,
actually, so they're just generically evil.
Something I found out is that when they're with a volcano, with like the ash and stuff, it actually kind of fertilizes the land after a point.
Yes.
And allows for allows things to grow better.
Yeah, Same thing. Same thing with selective forest fires. But that would require that James Cameron is actually interested in giving the Ash people a actual philosophical point to contrast them with the tree people or the sea people. But I get the feeling that they're just going to be generically angry fire people who Quaritch is going to adopt, like Jake adopted the tree people first and then the sea people. Also, again, maybe it's because fucking the James Cameron's Avatar franchise is like a psychic equivalent of fucking Ambien. But do we ever find out the practical reason why Jake needed to abandon the tree people in favor of the sea people in the first fucking place? Like, I remember he didn't want to lead Quaritch back to the tree people, but that doesn't explain why he needs to change tribes altogether, is the thing.
I don't think it was explained well, I think is the problem.
Yeah. Much like most of the storytelling in much like most of the storytelling in James Cameron's Avatar, it apparently went from James Cameron's brain to the story Bible, but was never actually incorporated properly into the actual story itself.
You done?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, it's just like, no offense, man, but you aren't. I get it, but you are kind of repeating yourself.
I know. It's just, it annoys me that this fucking franchise of all the franchises is the one that can just auto succeed. Because it's such an empty just artifice. And there's either no depth, period, or the depth that there is stuck in James Cameron's head because he doesn't think he should have to communicate to the audience any of the 100,000 pages of the story Bible he apparently has. Anyway, Banana.
Let me get to... Yeah, Banana.
In hate.
If there is something you can do, then you must do it.
That is the most generic quasi-profundity pep talk I've ever heard.
You done?
Yes, going on. Banana.
Honestly, I feel like we should all be taking shots for how many times Dawn dunks on this, but then again, if we did with actual alcohol, we'd all be pretty drunk by now.
You would all be dead from severe like stage 4 alcohol poisoning. Don't do that under any circumstances. I am giving the AirSat Surgeon General warning. Do not take any of my rants with alcohol. You will die, and you will die painfully.
I figured it would have been some sort of these Na'vi have abandoned their ways and embraced their destructive human ones. I mean, I don't drink either, Jonah. I'm just saying, like, I will eat before drink. Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but again, medical warning: rants are not to be taken with alcohol. It is severely ill-advised to take any of these rants with alcohol. You will die.
Religion does have a number of tenets that basically say no technology beyond Stone Age hunting weapons, which actually seems like something interesting. Like there's a history behind that. right?
Like Jonah was mentioning, there's apparently 100,000 pages worth of fucking storytelling. It's just we as the audience don't get any access to it because James Cameron either thinks that it's not worth centering the story on any of it, or he thinks that he's already communicated it to the audience somehow, even though he hasn't. And usually some combination of the two. And yet, despite the fact that it took him a decade to make 2 movies in this single franchise, he feels the need to bitch at superhero universes for them being too long form in their storytelling. Well, James, it was like 10 years between your first movie and your second movie, and you still haven't explained hardly anything. And it took another 3 years for you to make this movie, and I don't get the impression that you're going to ever feel the need to explain anything in this movie either.
You done?
Yeah, moving on.
So I'm gonna be honest, this is the trailer I want to get through the quickest.
Because there's other more interesting things to be said about the other ones, yes.
Yeah.
Banana.
Also, what is the XP thing about? XP. I don't know what that is, Jonah. Hey, welcome to current time, Giant Turtle.
Yes.
But yeah, sorry, Jonah. I'm not sure if I can answer that.
If there's some like video game style XP mechanic that
chat has XP in it for something.
That's weird.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Okay, but in any case, Banana.
I will say this: this trailer actually feels the most generic of all the Avatar trailers we've seen.
Yeah,
and
that's saying something because they all feel very generic.
I will disagree because I think the Way of Water, at least like the first one I remember, had more of a sense of something. Like it was the music mostly, I think, because it was like that singing throughout it.
Right. Yeah. As per usual, James appears content to let the atmosphere of the movie do all the work for him, and that explains why this franchise is one of the single most empty franchises in the history of cinematic storytelling.
Dumb.
Yeah. Banana.
The children. No, Spider.
I'm going to go ahead and assume that some portion of this movie is going to focus on Spider's torn loyalties between Quaritch and the Sully clan here.
I don't know.
Because that seems to be what they were setting up at the end of the second one, where Spider saved Quaritch from drowning and then immediately hissed at him, which at least implied to me, I might be being dumb here, it implied to me, I don't want you to die, but I also don't want anything to do with you, so fuck off. But my guess is this movie is going to be for Quaritch what the first movie was for Jake. Like, he's going to find some kinship with the Ash people in the same way Jake did with the Tree people first, and then the Sea people after. And then probably Avatar 4 is going to be Quaritch and the Ash people competing with Jake and the Sea people for Spider's loyalty, and we're going to get kind of a Luke being seduced by Vader to the dark side kind of motif, is my guess. Given that James Cameron rips off every other franchise in every other instance, I'm guessing that's where we're going to wind up with Spider's innocence being, in some sense, like the emotional anchor for the philosophical conflict between Quaritch and Jake.
Eh,
One assumes they're also going to throw Sigourney Weaver's daughter character in
Kiri.
as the spiritual center. The only question I really have is, are they gonna they could feasibly do something that I find interesting here, which is if not only Spider but also Kiri, you said her name was?
Yes.
Yeah, if not only Spider but also Kiri get seduced by the Ash people's way of thinking, and then you'd have to and then they'd have to contend with the Ash people having access to Kiri's Deus Ex Machina powers. But even that is kind of derivative of the like relationship between Rey and Kylo in the sequel trilogy. So
Hey, dumb.
banana.
I really don't want to talk about this fucking trailer, man.
Mhm.
Why the fuck do you have to have such a hate boner for it? It takes up our time, man.
Because it makes $2 billion because visuals, and the visuals aren't even that interesting. It pisses me off.
Talk about it on someone else's stream, man. Can we not have fun here?
God damn it.
I'm sorry that I don't want to be a depressed motherfucker all the time. Sorry, you live off that. I don't.
Fair. This ranting about stupid shit on this show is kind of my self-medication therapy.
You know what my self-medication is? Being fucking happy. And I don't get to be fucking happy a lot. So I just make myself sadder. God damn it.
At least it wasn't my fault this time. Lol.
I mean, kinda. Anyway, yeah, let's continue.
Banana.
Banana.
And we will find another way.
There is so little like diversity of color in the backgrounds here. It's just green, blue, and now orange. Like James, you had the capacity to make a universe from the ground up. Why do you just do green plants and blue water again? You couldn't have at least done interesting things with the color palette, James.
So D&D, says Jonah. I would assume that was what they're referring to what you were talking about.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that so D&D is in reference to, Jonah. Please explain.
You know, okay. I feel like what actually would have been interesting is kind of like just to make this whole thing interesting would have been maybe it's weird. Like I can't genuinely think of any real rewrites for this.
I can, but I've already kind of gotten into them somewhat, and I will explain my thought process further when we get to the like end line of this trailer.
For fun, to relax, D&D, random bullshit, go. Okay. Oh, no, okay, so that was... Okay, yeah. And that was referring to what... Okay.
Okay, but anyway, Banana.
I really want to get into D&D, but I don't really have a group to do it with.
Yeah, I had that problem until college, and then the people I ended up playing D&D with were asshats, so I didn't get to enjoy it in college very much either.
Right, no, the idea I was thinking of, it's actually... I was from a video I was thinking... I remember watching a few years ago. Instead of having Pandora be... I realized it kind of made a little more sense, like the more scientific plausibility of having Pandora be set as a moon to a planet in the Alpha Centauri thing. Scientific plausibility, right?
Mm-hmm.
But just because this is somewhat science fantasy.
Because of all the pseudo-spiritual crap with regards to Awa and whatnot.
Right. Why not? And again, it's a movie universe, and this is effectively like an alternate Earth history universe kind of deal, right? Future and all that.
Mm-hmm.
What if it was our moon that was green? Again, I'm talking about like this is kind of an idea I'd seen someone pitch as a what if video on YouTube. If anyone's interested, I can post it in the Discord later. Like find it and post it in Discord later. But the moon has its own like atmosphere. Like it's basically its own miniature planet connected to ours. And instead of like a gray silver sphere we would have seen throughout our history in the sky, right?
You could have also, not to interrupt you, but you could have also done like inner Earth, hollow Earth thing, and have the Na'vi be from the interior of the Earth, which would also help explain why the like plants and stuff are the same color and it all looks so very Earth-like.
Well, also the bioluminescence. It also could have explained the bioluminescence as well.
Yeah, but ironically, this I just realized this. They kind of did a better version of what Avatar is doing in the like King Kong Godzilla MonsterVerse thing of all things. And that's already a pretty generic, although more fun, I think, than this franchise, sci-fi franchise. But yeah, if you did like a Journey to the Center of the Earth, inner Earth thing with the Na'vi, it would also be interesting because instead of Awa, you could literally have it be Gaia, and then it becomes more about the Na'vi essentially remaining in touch with the nature of the Earth, while the surface world, obviously in the not too distant future, becomes a cyberpunk dystopia type thing.
Right.
Since you do want to like morally lecture the audience, James, about how Noble Savage is awesome and technology and corporations and capitalism bad, you could have done that and have it be better connected to the human condition by having the Na'vi basically be another humanoid species in the planet rather than on the planet, obviously. But yeah, it would have made better thematic sense for the story you're planning on telling here.
Okay. Jonah, so Avatar takes place in the years 2154 and 2170. Thank you for telling us, Jonah. I couldn't remember the years. Thank you.
The technology has not advanced significantly enough if it's that long from now.
But I mean, it was a dystopian future, so there's a stagnation there that will happen.
Well, I suppose, but of all the parallels my brain just made just now, it kind of reminds me of like the inverse of Legend of Korra. Like instead of instead of Legend of Korra being not advanced enough, it has the opposite problem where everything advanced far too fucking quickly. But yeah. Anyway, moving on. Banana.
Hold on. Giant Turtle, I feel like them being inside the Earth would cause a lot more problems than it solves. Also, you don't need to necessarily explain why the plants are green any more than you need to explain why they don't have something instead of eyes. Hold on.
I don't necessarily object to it on a world building basis, DT. I object to it on an aesthetic and visual basis. Like, given that he could have made Pandora's ecosystem look however he could envision it, because he had, fuck you levels of CGI, why are the plants green and the water blue? Like, could you not have thought of it? At the very least, could you not have thought of a more interesting and alien-looking color palette so that the visual wouldn't be photorealistic naturalism again? And if you wanted to make a movie series, James, about how awesome and beautiful the natural world is, you could have literally made 20 nature documentaries with the money you spent on the first Avatar and another 20 with the money you spent on Way of Water. You also could have saved fuck tons of money by actually shooting these. Assuming you need Pandora to look like a rainforest, you could have saved oodles of money by just shooting the thing in a rainforest or in, an island nation or ocean or whatever the fuck. And then you could have saved the CGI budget for things that actually are otherworldly, assuming you ever had any of those.
Alright, Giant Turtle also said, Don, I think you're just trying to write a completely different story and are just keeping the environmentalism stuff. Don't become a novelty addict. Don't.
I'm just saying. I've made this point in other circumstances before, but given that James Cameron had all the bells and whistles any director could have desired, it kind of annoys me that all he did was create a photorealistic bowl of fruit when he could have gone full Salvador Dali or full William Blake on our asses.
All right. And Jonah Arts actually posted something interesting. I think this was responding to Giant Turtle saying, I feel like them being inside the Earth would cause a lot more problems than it solve. Jonah Arts says it would, unless it was more like our Earth is a Dyson sphere and Pandora is the inner part of the sphere.
Yeah, which was kind of what I was suggesting, the inner Earth hypothesis.
Right. Okay. Giant Turtle, there's your live action bias showing. Just film it in the rainforest, make nature documentary.
No, I'm DT. I'm not saying he should do that. I'm saying, given what he chose to do with the story, it would have made more sense for that. Because he didn't do the sensible thing, which is create an actual alien-looking environment with an alien-looking color scheme. That would have been the sensible thing, given that he could have created a world from scratch. But given that he decided of his own volition not to do that, if he wanted to make essentially nature porn, which is what Avatar aesthetically often ends up being because there's no stylization to it and it's all photorealistic naturalism, assuming that James Cameron chose to make this franchise the nature porn that he ended up making it, he could have done so far more efficiently by actually shooting certain things on location and therefore not having to use all the CG in the world to do nothing more stylized or interesting than green trees and blue water. Like, James, could you not have at least made it a different color so that it would have looked more visually and aesthetically interesting? You basically just took a blank canvas and all the art supplies you could muster, and instead of creating something visually interesting like Salvador Dali or William Blake or any of the surrealists, you just painted a photorealistic bowl of fruit, which is impressive, I guess, but It's a lot less interesting than the melting clocks thing or whatsoever crazy shit William Blake happens to be doing at any given point.
Giant Turtle, I still think you once again have strange standards for things. John Hart says he, I assume James Cameron, wanted a more plausible and real world for how things could evolve near a gas giant inhabitable zone.
Well, it doesn't look like that's ever been the premise. It just looks like the plants and water from Earth with no significant alterations to them. And at no point does there seem to be any different gravitational issues or different ways of animals evolving and shit.
The floating mountains and stuff, and
do we ever does anything in the story ever actually center on that though? Or is it just a background detail because James Cameron thought it would look cool?
Okay, just because it isn't explained doesn't mean it's not part of that. Whatever. I honestly, guys, I don't think we're going to change his mind because he is so stuck in his ways.
But again, instead of writing 100,000 pages of bullshit and not using any of it to your advantage, James, you could have put some of it on screen, goddamn you, and actually made the story relevant to it and it relevant to the story instead of having it in the series Bible and then proceeding to not tell the audience about any of it. Moving on.
Many people. Okay, we are gonna move. I'll read that later, Giant Turtle. Just I want to get through this fucking trailer.
Yep, banana.
Your goddess has no dominion here.
Okay,
that's interesting to me.
Okay, but I actually want to talk about that because I think it is a massive missed opportunity. Instead of having the fire Na'vi betray the nature goddess that all things on Pandora revolve around, what you could have done, and it actually would have tied into this like pseudo shamanic spirituality the Na'vi have, is have the fire Na'vi, like I described earlier, understand that destruction is a part of creation, and like Brainstormer alluded to earlier with the volcanic eruptions and or forest fires fertilize things for new creation and shit. But instead of having the fire Na'vi and the fire Na'vi disagree with the other tribes, not because they now hate their goddess, but because they think that because destruction is a natural part of the cycle, that they are in a different sense than the others, but in the same way, serving Eywa by destroying things, by, having fire cleanse the natural world and give room for new life. But instead of actually tying their philosophical disagreement into the pseudo-spirituality that we've already established, James decided, you know what, fuck it. No, their forest just burned and they're salty about it, so they betray their goddess, even though they de facto know that their goddess exists because they all plug into the spirit trees and what have you. See, that's the kind of missed opportunity bullshit that annoys me. Because if you're going to have a premise, James, actually exploit that premise. Actually build a world if you're going to build a world. Or if you're not going to build a world, if you're just going to throw whatsoever you feel like on the screen at any given moment, James, why didn't you just make a bunch of nature documentaries, considering you want this franchise to be nature porn?
Okay, Giant turtle. Hold on. Donards. The floating platforms are used for things like combat and obstacles or story points or flying. They even have unobtainium be the reason for them to float as they are underneath the rocks. My theory, the Na'vi were making technology like humans, but either it scared Awa or almost broke the planet, so instead this nature goddess made an almost clockwork harmony system.
Sorry, go through that again. My brain blanked for a second.
Dementia?
No, I was reading other comments and my brain got distracted.
I mean, you are old. I mean, it's normal for old guys to develop a sort of dementia, so.
Not for another 20 years, assuming I live that long.
I will make you live that long, motherfucker.
Whether I live or die is very much now at the whims of the Queen of Air and Darkness.
Fair enough.
Neither of us gets a vote. I will live so long as it is useful to Mab for me to live, or as long as she wants me to.
Alright. Alright. To be fair, I've heard that theory as well, Giant Turtle. Okay, so yeah, theory was the Na'vi were making technology like humans, but either it scared Awa or almost broke the planet. So instead, this nature goddess made an almost clockwork harmony system.
Jonah, don't try to do that. You will piss off my queen, and I don't want her to have a reason to be pissed at me, even by proxy. I will live as long as Mab wishes me to live, and not a instant more than that.
Yemna Gray, they seem to be biotech. I mean,
they don't really build on that concept either, other than the plug motif. Unless they're gonna pull something like the Doctor's daughter from Doctor Who and have Awa actually be some sort of supercomputer at the core of the planet instead of a deity type thing. Which, to James Cameron's credit, I don't think even he would be that stupid. I don't think he's gonna turn it into Awa is actually like a supercomputer AI. I think he is going to try for something adjacent to spirituality with it. The question is, when is he actually going to stop fucking around and actually give the audience the necessary exposition to fill in those gaps? We're 3 movies in and we barely have a movie and a half worth of like lore to go from.
Awa sort of is a supercomputer, just biological, a planet-spanning brain. It was explained in the first movie, says Giant Turtle.
But still, I think they're gonna go quasi-spiritual with it. Why
can't it be both?
Because he wants there to be like a Jesus thing going on with Kiri, and I don't think he's going to. I think what that's going to turn into is the Sky people only think that the brain accounts for all of it, and it's going to turn out there's deeper spiritual things going on.
Right. I'm saying though that that still sounds like it's both.
Because that if they tie it only to the like planet spanning brain crap, then there's going to be a very easy way for the humans to just go, yeah, we're going to kill this super brain so that you don't have a goddess anymore.
Okay, I'm not saying obviously get rid of the spiritualism. I'm fine with the spiritualism, but I'm saying why can't both explanations be true in some sense or form?
Well, true and rather than true or is the thing.
That's what I meant. That's
The
what I
way
meant.
the way they made it sound in the first movie was that this was the Na'vi being primitive and misinterpreting something biological as spiritual. Whereas I think where James wants the story to go is the humans are the stupid ones for being biological essentialists,
Okay,
and
no,
the
I
Na'vi
get
are
that.
more correct than
I get
than
that.
the humans.
I'm not disagreeing with you. Obviously, I'm not. I agree. Anyway, I think that's it.
Yeah. Anyway, like I said, I don't have any faith in this franchise, and I don't think there's really much of a reason for me to have any faith in this franchise. We're barreling headlong towards a completed trilogy, and we still know next to nothing about this world or its people or even the characters that the story is supposed to be centering on. And the visuals that seem to be the get out of jail free card of this franchise aren't even that interesting, and that's why I'm such an anal retentive advocate of stylization and interesting aesthetics rather than just basic bitch photorealistic naturalism. Moving on.
Okay. All right. So this is Aztec Batman, Clash of Empires, the official trailer. We're just going to be listening to the English one because they also have the Spanish dub as well here. Just because neither of us speak Spanish.
In one case, that is very surprising. In the other, less
Motherfucker, I
so.
was raised by white people, okay? Shut the fuck up.
You knew I was going to say it. Don't even act like you didn't know I was going to say it. You paused specifically so that I could make that joke.
Even if I was still talking, you'd make the joke. Let's be fully honest on that.
I realize I would make the joke regardless, but I want it known for posterity that you also knew going in that I was about to make that joke. And you paused specifically to give me an attempt to make that joke. So don't act like it's my fault when you knew it was coming and you even facilitated it. This is not your first day. You are young, but you are not that young.
No, Jonah, I'm not eating. I'm still a little sick. I've been sick for the last week and a half. It's mostly just congested. It's just like a stuffy nose now. I wasn't a little cough here and there, but nothing too bad. Not puking or anything like that, which I count as a win.
Mhm.
You know what? Actually, yeah, he is Giant Turtle.
He
Yeah,
chose to be quote unquote my best friend. Let's not act like I didn't. Like the first day I met him, open with the phrase "I am an asshole and you must understand this." Like you guys don't get to pull the "you never told us" card. I told you both pretty much as soon as I met both of you. Stop acting like I didn't warn you precisely this sort of eventuality would happen. What's the point of being borderline pathologically honest if you don't actually listen to me when I'm being borderline pathologically honest? You knew going in, you don't get to complain. Damn it.
Right.
Moving on.
Sorry, I forgot to mention. I just remember this, and I forgot to mention it like when we started. So I know it's been kind of sporadic lately of our podcasts, just simply because I've had things to do the last couple of Saturdays, which is going to be the case for next Saturday as well. I'm going on vacation with my family on Saturday, so we will be doing the podcast 2:31 on Friday, possibly a little earlier, just so I can get to bed early because I have to get up early.
Mhm.
But yeah, hopefully that should be the last one for a while.
That gets messed up, I think, is what you mean.
Right? Yeah. Sorry, I'm a little tired, so my brain's a little.
Because the way that came out, it sounded like it was going to be the last show for a while, and I don't think that's what you meant. But Dragon Turtle, if you don't heed the warning sign when the warning signs are given, then that is a you problem. I realize, as per the old Fairly Odd Parents joke, nobody reads the manual, but let's not act like it wasn't explicitly opened to the right page for you to read it when it was presented to you. Like I gave you both the fucking medical disclaimer for myself when I met both of you, pretty much, or very very near to that point.
Yeah. I think I'm the one who sent this because, well, most of the time Batman animated stuff is actually really good. I mean, I wish they would do more with other characters, but yeah. And there's been some, I don't want to say controversy because I don't really think that's it, but some people have brought to light certain things about this specific idea for Batman.
And we will get into them when we get into them. Being that as it may, should we go with the normal Batnana, or should we make some kind of corn reference because Mesoamerican?
Bat corn? No. That, oh, that, mm. I'm conflicted. I'm not sure.
I'm surprised you didn't call me racist again for doing the whole Mesoamerican corn thing.
You forget I'm basically white. Okay, I was raised in the Midwest. Most of the shit's gonna go over my head because I was never really in connection with my Hispanic Mesoamerican heritage. Okay.
I feel like I could make a joke out of that, but it would make me even more of a dick than usual, so I will abstain for once.
It's not gonna stop
Anyway.
you saying that when we're off screen, is it?
Probably not, and it probably won't stop me from making similar jokes later, but for the moment, it looks slightly more assholish than even I am comfortable with being, so I will abstain for the moment, temporarily.
Actually, hold on. Bat Heart. So that is a
Because Mayan human sacrifice reference, I'm assuming, or Aztec in this case.
yeah.
I don't know if that works. I think we should just go Batnana.
God damn it! I opened
Wait, no. Wait, hold on. Bat plantain, because plantains are a specifically Mesoamerican variant of banana. So bat plantains.
I just opened a floodgate for people in the comments with the corn thing.
You did.
All right. Bat plantain.
Bat plantains.
A wise man told me once, fear can kill you or inspire you to action.
My son, when you take my place, it'll be your duty to always be ready for battle.
What are those?
Okay, so I guess positives. I dig the tone, obviously. It's very Batman-esque. Music's not bad. In terms of variation of the Batman.
I like the nice little nod to the Danny Elfman theme there.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Yeah, there's a nice variation there. I dig the costume. art style is actually pretty neat. It's different, which I respect.
My question is, given how many Bat Elseworlds we've been doing, is there going to be some kind of multiversial Elseworlds crossover at some point for all the Bat multiverse, so to speak?
I don't think so. It's the young man, I believe. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, you're making a joke, Jonah. Oh, it makes me curious though, because they had a statue of like a bat creature that inspires him, which would indicate that there is some type of god or deity, right?
Yeah, there are Aztec bat deities. I'm simultaneously not surprised, but I'm also very glad that they did remember that someone did enough homework to remember. Oh wait, there are bat deities in Aztec mythos.
Okay, I'm looking it up because I'm curious. Okay, Aztec mythology, the bat god is primarily known as, I'm gonna butcher this, Camazotz.
Mhm.
Although he's more prominently featured in Mayan and Zapotec traditions. Deity associated with night, death, and sacrifice. Often depicted as a monstrous figure with bat-like features. While the Aztecs did have a bat deity, it was not as central to their pantheon as it was in neighboring cultures.
But it's there, so good for whoever was trolling through Wikipedia that day.
It's prominent in Mayan lore. It's a terrifying bat creature encountered by the hero twins in the underworld of Xibalba, associated with the underworld and considered a gatekeeper of death.
Mm-hmm. So it very much does work with the whole "I am vengeance, I am the night" shtick.
Although, from what it says here in the brief thing I'm looking at, it would make more sense if he was Mayan instead of Aztec.
Realistically, they're probably going to blend the two together because
I'm not sure how to feel about that.
It's kind of like the best analogy I can make for it is the relationship between the Mayans and the Aztecs is very similar to the relationship between the Greeks and the Romans in the Western canon. Yes,
Okay,
they are different, but they're very much cognate for each other and continuous with each other. So
yeah, that's fair. But I also was under the... Sorry, fuck Christ. I woke up at 9 today. How am I fucking tired?
well, what did you spend the day doing?
I was out and about, trying to buy a bed. So
That would also, didn't you have to move the old one out like you mentioned earlier to me?
we did that. We did that yesterday.
Okay, so yeah, that probably explains why you're tired.
The style of the clothes are Mayan with small influence of Aztec. So one of the smaller cultures that are well known that have not been seen in ages outside of Mexico. Yeah, that's fair.
Mm-hmm. But
right.
in any case, bat plantains.
You really are. You're really happy of saying that, aren't you?
I'm glad that we found a way to work in both the bat motif and the Mesoamerican motif.
Right.
Although it's now making me hungry for plantain chips because I had those once and they're delicious.
I don't ever have those.
You should try them if you get the chance. Plantain chips are delicious. I don't even know how they are as delicious as they are, but they were freaking amazing when I had them. So
I'll put it on the list. Oh, fucking Christ.
Anyway, bat plantains.
Bad plantains.
My hands control the power of destiny. What I want is gold.
Impossible. We have strict rules in place that forbid this.
Rules are rules.
Okay, you probably all saw this coming, especially Brainstormer, because I've already done this rant for him once. But of all the Bat Rogues you could have made into a conquistador, why pick the Joker?
Oh no, this is
Big-
too.
Well,
We
and
haven't seen the Joker yet.
but also because this will be a reoccurring theme throughout this trailer. How in all the fucks did you make a Batman that was set in Mesoamerica and not include Bane in the movie? Anyway, bad plantains.
I have had tamales. Jonah Arts. Those are good. I like those. Well, the first time I ate them, I did not take off the skin.
Oh dear.
Well,
That
okay, no, I
prob-
bit into it first. Then I was told it was not a good idea.
Yeah,
I didn't-
you are very much supposed to remove the skins of tamales before you eat them.
It was the first time I was given it. Yeah, it was the first time I was given it, and I was a young kid. You know, I didn't know. No one said anything. I was just handed it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you can blame whoever gave you tamales for that then. They should have explained.
Bane should be the warrior that should help Batman. I could see him be like maybe a Jaguar. Well, Catwoman's in here and is a Jaguar warrior, I believe.
Which that actually does make sense. I am entirely fine with that as a thing. The thing that I find baffling is you didn't include the Mesoamerican character who is a fundamental part of Batman's Rogues Gallery in the Batman set in fucking in the Mesoamerican area and time period.
Would be a great place for Croc.
Aren't there crocodile deities in that
Replace
mythos as well?
Replace Bane's venom with some sort of berserker drugs. Were
That
there?
that could. Yeah, the Mayans had different psychedelics that they would take before they went into battle that would make them more ferocious.
Oh yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about, Jonah. That when I preheated tamales, it is so fucking hard to get. Yeah. I have thought about this. I honestly do think don't get me wrong, I don't mind this concept, but I do think it's a bit hard to make a Batman in this, given the Joker should be the one who should help as a Quetzalcoatl priest for them.
Is Quetzalcoatl the one that would make the most sense for Joker? I feel like there are other trickster deities that would work better for Joker, but
I think hold on. Aztec. I'm gonna say God of Chaos because I feel like there is one.
I know there are trickster deities. I don't know if they have one for chaos specifically, but I know they have tricksters.
Hold on. Okay, there's a Aztec god most associated with chaos is Texcatapulca.
Yeah.
God known as the god of discord, night, temptation, and destruction.
Yes. Which I believe we've used him before in something, haven't we? I remember telling you about Texcatapulca once.
You might have brought it up. I don't remember what exactly.
I could have sworn it was for Jaguar Warrior on the New Bloods, but it could have been for something else.
Well, hold on. That is he is disfigured. Like Joker. Okay. Yeah. If we are true to Batman, he should be treating the Aztec Empire like Gotham, something to clean up.
Which honestly worked for the Mesoamerican civilizations, given the whole, violent human sacrifice thing. That does seem like something that Batman would, or realistically should be opposed to rather than assisting. But
Uh,
that wouldn't let us vilify the quote unquote white conquistadors. So reasons.
they were Spanish. Penguin could be a conquistador, but could also see him as some wealthy Aztec noble. Yeah, I could say that.
I think Penguin might work better as a conquistador in that sense.
Yeah. I do find it strange that they made Two-Face a conquistador.
Yeah, that's a little bit weird. I still maintain that the best villain to have in this particular movie would have been a version of Bane, because he actually, is from that, or is descended broadly from that culture, ostensibly. So it could have really worked if they had thought about it for more than 5 seconds.
Actually, now that I think about it, if we made Bane a conquistador, we could have gotten the guy who voiced that conquistador dude from Road to El Dorado. Everybody remembers that movie?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it had that blowjob scene. Sorry. Implied, at the very least.
It's tough to be a god indeed. Oh boy.
Okay. God, older movies were so like.
Road to El Dorado in general is just it's a movie that doesn't get enough love. It should get more love than it does.
Okay.
Actually, before we move on, funny story. I have two friends. I think I've mentioned one of them before. But two of my friends are members of the Society for Creative Anachronism, also known as the SEA. And in SEA, you have the capacity to give yourself a period name. And in the SEA, there is this role known as like Master of Defense, which usually just goes by the acronym MOD. And two of my friends who are in the SEA are planning on renaming themselves when they reach mod status as Tulio and Miguel.
Okay. Okay, so Jonah says, since we see the conquistador, but since we see them really early, they are at the East Coast, so a lesser Aztec tribe that we see. Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, bat plantains.
Yeah. But I think, okay, if it's set in Mexico, I honestly kind of want to like, just because Zorro is supposed to be an inspiration, right?
That'd be nice, yeah.
I kind of would have liked to have seen it set during would it be the Spanish Revolution? No, that's not what it's called.
I know the period you mean, the name of it just escaped my brain.
Hold on. Okay. Early 18. Okay. Yes, Spanish colonial California. The early 1800s comes in around the 1820s.
Which you could have easily made Bruce a inheritor of a plantation in that period. It would have worked. Granted, then you'd have to ask yourself the question about Batman's involvement in the slave trade, but small print. And speaking of redeeming shitty cultures. That could be one of the differences between the way Bruce runs things and the way his parents did.
Although, I'm so sick of that. Anyway, um, although at that point you'd just be doing Zorro, but with Batman theme.
It's not like that wouldn't make sense, and also wouldn't be an interesting homage for the fans of both characters.
Either that or Wild West period. I know that wasn't a long period, mind you, but
Plus, it would give us Batman versus Old West outlaws, which will never cease to be badass.
we'd also have him maybe also be part of a posse with the DC Wild West heroes, like
That
El
could
Diablo,
work.
Jonah Hex.
That could work too. Anyway, Bat Plantains.
Yeah.
Slaughter them all! Are you all right? Where's your father?
I'm going to stop this. I want you to train to become the.
My back.
I don't really have anything to say here, to be fair.
No, me either. Bat Plantains.
That plantain.
greatest warrior that the world has ever known.
What else do you require, my lord?
Fear. Even with all of your training, I still can't defeat them.
If only there was somebody who's stealthy.
Cowboy Batman, Wild West is the same time period as the Victorian era. Yeah,
It is.
that's true. So Gotham by Gotham by Gaslight would also be going on. Well, when he's set in Britain or London specifically, the actual movie was set in America during what was it like the? No, I can't remember. And same time,
It wouldn't have been the Gilded Age yet. I forget the term for the time between the Old West and the Gilded Age.
Okay, actually, feudal. Well, no, we got Batman Ninja, even though I don't really think that counts. Like in feudal Japan.
Well, these are Elseworlds in any case. So unless you want to do like a Bat multiverse thing, which honestly I could see them doing like a team comprised of various different forms of Batman. That would be interesting.
You can have a cowboy, Ronin, and a Victorian gentleman all in one bar.
You could, and then they very well might have done a couple of times.
I've actually seen someone pitch a D&D game that's set in a historical context where a pirate, a Ronin, a cowboy, and a Victorian gentleman were like all technically within the same.
Yeah, that would be a very interesting like D&D campaign idea.
Yeah, because weirdly enough, in the 1800s, like that whole century, a lot of things happened. More like just as much as the 20th century.
Yeah, it fucks with your sense of time when you remember that feudal Japan, the cowboy era of the Wild West, Victorian London, and the latter days of the like golden age of piracy were all relatively contemporaneous to each other.
Well, yeah, okay, the golden age was like another century behind that, like in the 1700s.
Well, yeah, that's why I say the end of the golden age of piracy.
Yeah. Yeah. An elderly pirate. That's what I meant, Dragon Troll. But
yeah, because It would have to be. It would have to be somebody at least in their 80s, if not older.
Stealing that idea for a game. I can try and find the YouTube short on that so you get full context.
And by the way, for Dragon Turtle's benefit, I am still working on getting the hang of GURP so we can adapt the packed dice setting to it. Because I really want to do packed dice, but
speaking of Wild Bow stuff, I haven't watched it yet, but I recently found audiobooks for Worm on YouTube, and I'm looking to listen to that at some point. And yes, Dalton, I'm going to fairly soon start listening to Stormfront. Okay, just before you bring it up.
Also, speaking of Wild Bow, I did recommend you Pact like ages ago because of the possible inspiration between Rose Senior and Queen Divinity for Lionhearted.
Right. It's gonna take me a while because I want to get through Worm first, just because I did start that and I want to finish that.
I'm just going to remind you again.
No,
you have a month to get through at least Stormfront.
I will get through Stormfront, motherfucker. I will get through it. I have given my word. I always keep my fucking word.
But this is why I am reminding you that time exists, because sometimes you forget that time exists.
To be fair, time starts to blend a lot for me. I don't know why.
Hence the friendly reminder. This is why I am doing the thing I am doing, to remind you that time exists, because I know your brain doesn't always process that well. Anyway, Bad Plantains.
All right. I actually kind of want to look up a historical period where that hasn't been done for Batman and kind of write my own story for it, just out of pure interest.
I think a Batman that plays on the actual motif of medieval knights would be interesting, like a Batman set during the Crusades.
It's been done a few times, so that's why I'm not. I thought about that.
I know they've done Arthurian. Have they done Crusades though? I didn't think they did Crusades yet.
Actually, they might not have. Now that I think about it, huh?
Because I know they did, pull the Dark Knight motif, with Merlin and the Arthurian mythos once, because there were several episodes set during that period for Brave and the Bold. But I don't think they ever had a Batman set in the Crusades.
I'm thinking of some shit right now. Anyway, Bad Plantains.
Bad Plantains.
Find that bat and that cat. Put your trust in me. Cortez must.
Okay, so he's not a conquistador. Joker.
That at least solves the why in the fuck would the Joker of all people be in favor of exploration and conquering, because that's really not Joker's thing.
Which means he probably killed someone and took their armor so he could talk to Cortez.
That's also possible. Anyway,
I also found this out. It's voiced by the guy. Okay, for anyone who knows Breaking Bad, it's voiced by the guy who played Tuco. Joker's played by the guy who played Tuco in Breaking Bad.
Interesting choices.
I mean, it doesn't sound too bad. Even the laugh, I think, actually is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It's very haunting, actually.
I don't know if I would go that far, but it is at least competent.
All right. Shall we?
Bat plantains. Yep.
Put your trust in me. Cortez must stand and face my vengeance.
Not vengeance, but through sacrifice.
You've been given a sacred mission. Whether you accept it or not, it's the truth.
Tell us, war leader, what are your orders?
Um. None really. Although Poison Ivy has some type of nature goddess is
That worked,
interesting.
to be fair. Especially because ever since the retcons of Swamp Thing, everyone has asked the question, why the fuck isn't Pamela Isley chosen as an Avatar of the Green? So that does work.
Okay, I can give you an idea for a story for it. I'll debut it. I appreciate that, Jonah. Ancient Chinese Batman in the 18 stages period. I don't think there is Giant Turtle, at least for some. I haven't seen it here. Croc. Or anywhere during the Mongol invasion. Oh, that's actually not a bad idea.
Trying to think of where else I would like to see Batman come from.
Oh, okay. I didn't. And eating states. I've never heard of that for China.
Napoleonic Batman would be interesting, although if we're gonna stick him during any revolution, I'd prefer if it were Batman during the American Revolution. Because, like, colonial Batman just sounds badass to me.
I kind of, to be fair, I've kind of experienced that. I've kind of already experienced that with Assassin's Creed 3. The character is very Batman-like. The main character in that story.
Doesn't mean it wouldn't be interesting to see Batman powering around with Benjamin Franklin and company.
Okay. Warring States period. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you really gotta look into that autocorrect Giant Turtle because it's.
Yeah, autocorrect continues to be a count. We all know this.
Yeah.
For some reason, it puts the word "b" in between a bunch of things when I type it, and I don't even know why, because it doesn't even put them in places that make grammatical sense.
Islamic Golden Age Batman. Yeah, that was me. Well, I don't know if bats were common at that time.
I don't think so. Also, it'd be really hard not to turn Joker into a jihadist at that point. Although to be honest with you, one thing that they haven't made use of in any of these alternate historical era Batman timelines, you could theoretically have it that it was that Ra's al Ghul could show up and it could always be the same Ra's al Ghul because immortal.
True. Well, there was a Doom the
Also,
Kid.
also Vandal Savage at some point as well.
Can always do a similar animal like a crow.
Right, but that's not. But you can't. You kind of have to keep the bat part of the Batman, otherwise it's not Batman, even in the most loosest sense. Although a world where I'm about to make Brainstormer have a geekgasm. Imagine a world where Bruce Wayne actually did die in the alley along with his parents, and he ends up getting resurrected as a version of the Crow.
Well, he'd be a kid, so
Depends on how long it takes him to fucking butcher the criminal underworld of Gotham, and considering that Gotham is a perpetual shithole, he could very easily make it into adulthood while still being a version of the Crow, assuming
no,
that the Crow metaphysics work in the DC universe.
but died and was resurrected. I don't think he would be aging. It's a thing.
Well, why not? His body would still, unless you want to make this a version of Damian Wayne, in which case I suppose little sociopath there could work. But yeah, I don't see why, assuming that the Crow's mission took long enough, if a child was turned into a version of the Crow, I don't see why they wouldn't age.
Because the Crow isn't alive or isn't resurrected for super long. Usually
But-
it's to take out
As-
the...
Assuming in this particular
Colin, I feel like you're just stretching. I feel like you're just stretching it for...
But okay, but you know as well as I do how much of a perpetual shithole Gotham is. If the Crow metaphysics worked in the DC universe, any Crow from Gotham would be at it for a very, very long time before it could be done.
Well, that's... I don't know, man. I feel like it's just like... I did see that, Jonah, and I'm looking at it right now, and... yeah, it sounds interesting. Again, I'd have to do my own research into it. But, that's in South America, right? Olmec civilization, or am I thinking of something else?
They all wound up making their empires through both Mesoamerica and what is now South America. at
Okay,
some point.
Mexico. Thank you.
The Incas too. They got around.
Okay. Yeah, it looks to be mostly... Yeah, okay. That'd be interesting. Alright. I am curious, because I think the armor he's wearing is supposed to be made out of obsidian, which was a primary material they used for, like, weaponry and stuff.
Yes,
So,
that's why
it's
you
very,
can.
it's very interesting.
That's why you can still find obsidian arrowheads all over the fucking place. The screen just did that buffering thing, which I assume means Brainstormer's about to have technical difficulties.
I mean,
'Cause that's
I seem
usually-
to be doing fine. Obsidian is not good armor.
No, it's not good for armor. It's good for sharp, pokey things. That's why you see it in knives, in arrowheads, in blades and shit all over the place.
Alright, it will kill the user from how sharp it is.
There are obsidian blades from centuries ago that are still sharper than modern day faced razors. Obsidian is a dangerous fucking thing.
Hey, what about a Hawaiian or a Maori Batman?
That could also be interesting, although given that they're doing this one, I think they'd have to work really hard to make it aesthetically different from this one.
Well, no, I'm sorry. Do you think they're very different? You do know
Yeah,
that,
but
right?
the normie audience isn't going to know that. Is what I meant. There's only so many variations on Native American that you can do that is going to be aesthetically distinct to the normie audience. I think the existence of this one has basically put the kibosh on any other Native American versions of Batman.
They are not Native American.
They're from Mesoamerica, yes, they are.
No, Maori are from Hawaii, Oceanic.
The Polynesian, which are ethnically kind of the same. But point being, to
I'm
a
sorry.
normie to a normie audience, tribal motifs are going to end up looking very similar.
Okay, actually,
That's why I think anything that is even in the aesthetic vicinity of Native American is probably going to be kiboshed by the existence of this one.
what about a India, like a Golden Age India, or no, actually like a British occupied India Batman?
Possible. I don't know. I don't know how you would make an Indian Batman though. Like I know they do have bat. What I mean is I don't know what that would do to the Batman aesthetics and the Batman lore and stuff.
Well, I'm sure they have bats, but I was well, like I said, British occupied India. Honestly, I could see if anyone's seen that movie RRR,
Yes,
the Bollywood movie, something similar to that, maybe.
I could see there being a Bollywood Batman. In fact, I'm pretty sure there are homages and parodies of Batman that are or that were made by Bollywood at some point.
Honestly, I know Bollywood's kind of weird, but it's genuinely interesting cinema.
It is.
Anyway,
no argument. Although a Bollywood Batman musical would be hilarious. I'm sure it also already exists because again, Bollywood is Bollywood. But there's a part of me that wants to see Bollywood musical Batman.
anyway, shall we?
Anyway, yeah. Moving along.
That plantain.
Bat plantains.
Attack!
Okay. I mean, it's fine. I just think it's not going as far as it could be.
Yeah, they either should have put a lot more thought into it so as to make it more distinctive, or they just shouldn't have bothered because it's going to be an amusing gimmick the first time you watch it, and there's not going to be much more meat on the bone than that, probably. Which is a shame, because if they had actually thought through this more, I think it could have been interesting. Especially if they made Bane the main villain. Anyway, next trailer.
Hey, give me 1 sec. Okay.
I guess we're just gonna have to agree to disagree, Jonah, because I think him being the main villain of an Aztec Batman and making him a conquistador would work really well. Because it fits with his, it fits obviously with his Hispanic heritage and also with the kind of jacked up warrior motif.
I mean, I'm gonna have to go with Jonah on this. I'll be honest. I do agree with the Joker design. Although, I don't know. I think, to be fair, I don't think we're getting like a good enough look of how the Joker looks. To really judge the design, but I think what we've seen, it is a little bit. There's nothing that's striking about it. Anyway, Peacemaker Season 2 official trailer. So full honesty, I did watch Peacemaker Season 1. It was fine. It was good.
I've seen clips of it. I didn't think there was much wrong with it. It also didn't grab me.
It wouldn't for you.
I still think it was a mistake not to cast John Cena as the adult Shazam instead of Zachary Levi.
Agreed, Jonah. Yeah, we covered that movie like 2 weeks ago, right?
Which
Superman. Was it 2 weeks ago, or was it a week? Or was it last week?
No, yeah, it I think it was 2 weeks ago. I have issues with the movie, and I don't think it really understands the character very well.
I disagree, but
It was fun, but I think James Gunn should have delegated it to somebody else.
to be fair, Dawn doesn't really get Superman, so I think he's wrong in that regard. Of it doesn't get the character. I see his points, but I still disagree.
The problem with it is, I don't want to go through the whole thing again, but the problem with it is I think James Gunn, in an effort to understand Superman, did more research into the evil versions of Superman than he did into the actual character. Because he kind of gave Clark Homelander's social media / public approval obsession, and then took the backstory from the Viltrumites from Invincible / whatever Brandon Breyer's species was from Brightburn and gave it to Clark's parents for some reason. And
that I will agree with you is stupid. That I will agree with you is stupid, but I still disagree with that first thing.
I think that's the biggest problem with the movie is James Gunn wanted to turn Superman into his self-insert character and make the movie about cancellation, but unfortunately didn't go far enough in portraying the media as the dirty smear merchants they are, and wound up making Clark look kind of like a brat when he got the most sympathetic journalist interview he could have possibly gotten.
Dalton,
I've been. Let me finish this because I have to finish it. I think what would have made more sense is if instead of having Lois interview him and just be a bog standard journalist with journalistic integrity, have Livewire do it and have her actually be adversarial to him. That way, when he has his emotional breakdown, it works better.
Okay, that's fair. But again, I still think you're wrong that didn't get the character right. I think they got the character pretty.
The problem is none of the stuff they did right had enough time to actually expand out to things because it was too. Because
the pacing is super fast. I don't understand that at all.
And like I said when we reviewed it, I think the biggest problem here is James Gunn did like 500 different contradictory things, but he didn't settle on any one of them. He just decided to do all of them and expect that that would be enough. But as it stands, the movie I think is a clusterfuck. It's still better than Man of Steel, which I think completely missed the point of the character. But I didn't think it did a good job of the character in general, because it doesn't let the things it gets right linger long enough to actually make an impact. And it's also
I still disagree with on your opinion that it didn't get the character right, but I see all the other points.
Yeah. Anyway, moving along to Peacemaker.
But again, just to say this, I saw season 1. It was fine. It's got heart to it. I think this is where James Gunn succeeds in with like these more minor characters.
Also, likable assholes. He can't really do anything unless it's with likable assholes.
To be fair, the original Guardians of the Galaxy comics didn't have likable assholes, but
that's what I mean. James Gunn only seems to know what he's doing when he has likable assholes to work with.
Yeah. But yeah, it's fine. Like, I think it's the kind of issue I have is that it's kind of a similar criticisms of like Creature Commandos. You know,
he only has the one mode,
and it's
the
good.
mode.
Like, it works. I'm just
it's just if he can't do something involving weird ass cadre of likable assholes learning to work together, that seems to be his only trick. It's
just like
weird
my
group of likable assholes. Sorry, go ahead.
The thing I was gonna say was it works. Like what he does with the weird, obscure characters, right? That's good. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is you don't really see a variety. Like even like variety of tone, of style, or anything with, like, again, in comparison of Peacemaker and Creature Commandos and the Suicide Squad, like those 3 things, they all feel very similar, which again, I get is his vibe and all that, fine. But I don't know, it's just it's not the same thing as like the at the Marvel sameness it's had in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not bad to that extent, but
yeah. Also, one thing that I fundamentally disagree with you on, just period, Jonah, he's not an alien god at all. There are literal gods in the DC universe, and he doesn't have any of their abilities. He is the platonic ideal of what a man can do. He has no godlike power whatsoever.
Depending on the continuity, but or whatever. Just before we start, last thing to like, I had something, and it was no, I got none. All right.
I can't think of any food stuff that's related to Peacemaker, so just banana.
Trying to think. No, they didn't really focus on any food, so
Banana.
You've all been waiting a long time for this one. Here's a new trailer of Peacemaker Season 2. Enjoy.
We doing it up in style.
Hey guys, I got beer. On. Duh. Oh, okay. Okay.
Just hand it to him.
I'll just hand it to him.
Vigilante's fun. You know,
hmm
I still hate John Economos. I don't know. Yeah, I said that before. Like I don't know. I just don't like his character.
Fair enough, I suppose.
He's just a little bitch, and not even in a fun way. You know.
hmm
I just like it feels like that nerd character who's written to make people see nerds as cool or not cool, but I don't know. It's just like
The lovable, socially retarded dumbass.
so you. But without any of the charm,
Yeah,
or wits that
I
he
would
has.
I would dispute the lovable part of that, considering I am a cold-hearted motherfucker. But fair enough.
But no, but John Economos doesn't have the charm or the wit or
It also doesn't help that he looks like I could beat him up.
yeah.
He's too much of a twink. Is the problem?
That's the one character in all of James Gunn's movies that I just genuinely do not like.
I get his purpose in the team. It's just it's like we were just saying. James Gunn really only has one move, and that one move is a cadre of likable assholes working together to counter all their misfit bullshit.
He's just such a bitch. I'm sorry. Like,
No, it's fair. I agree. I do not dispute that he is in fact a bitch. They kind of this just occurred to me. They kind of turned Adam Warlock in Guardians 3 into that character.
he's still more likable though.
Into the lovable, socially retarded dumbass.
Still more enjoyable than John.
No,
Economos.
he was more likable than random twink dude, but
John Economos.
yeah, he's more likable than John, but it is one of the reasons why Guardians 3 is my least favorite of the Guardians movies. Is they turned a character who is supposed to like be this quasi Shakespearean cosmic entity into the lovable, socially retarded dumbass.
All right. On.
Yep, banana.
I've changed a lot since I last saw you. I don't want to be a joke anymore. I want to be a real hero.
You wear a clown costume and go out and beat up people.
Honey, you live in the DC universe. This is not new to you. I'm just saying, DC has no shortage of vigilantes in various degrees of strange dress. This should not be new to anyone who lives in the DC universe. It should barely even be something worth remarking upon in the DC universe. Because basically every town or city in the DC universe has at least one, and usually several, vigilantes that do the vigilante thing.
Well, if you have onomatopoeia, not as many as you think. Okay, for those, because Dalton probably wouldn't know this character. He's a serial killer who kills vigilantes and collects their mass for a collection, and he only speaks via actually doing onomatopoeia. By actually, making this saying the words of like
Yes,
soundtracks.
yes. I get the premise.
Originally, he was supposed to be a Green Arrow villain, but they switched him over to Batman's.
I think it would have been better off if they had just left him as a a Green Arrow villain, because it's not like Ollie has that many like rogues that are uniquely his.
He's got a few, but nothing of real substantial note.
Nothing compared to the other DC characters' rogues is what I mean. So what I meant is stop giving Batman more rogues when there are other characters who need rogues more than he does. He already has a full dance card, so to speak.
That's basically what I said.
Anyway, Banana.
Chris, take something bad and make something good out of it.
I need to find the Peacemaker. He killed my son.
You're being monitored right now.
By who?
Rick Flag, Sr.
Whoa.
What?
Okay, that's interesting. I like what they're setting up with Rick Flag Sr.
He was the leader of Creature Commandos.
No, but I mean the Peacemaker having killed Junior and then the revenge scheme.
Yeah, Suicide Squad. Remember?
Yeah, I know. That's what I was remarking upon. It's good that they're actually following up on continuity. And it actually creates potential interesting villain for Peacemaker.
I don't remember what I don't know what you remember, man. You forget a lot of stuff.
I may be socially retarded, but I am not otherwise retarded. Thank you very much.
You're gonna look at me and tell me you don't forget stuff.
I do, but not with near enough regularity for you to be that confused.
Fuck you.
In any case, Banana.
What is it?
They have a dimensional portal, and it leads to a parallel world.
What?
It's not that big a deal.
Get the out, is not.
My son's a better man you could ever dream of being.
I hope they don't overuse the parallel pocket dimension motif, because like it was already kind of weird when they used it in Superman 2025. I don't want that to become like a disposable gimmick. It shouldn't be something everyone has.
It was in Peacemaker season 1. Peacemaker.
No, I
has
know, but just for the record, James, don't overuse the pocket dimension motif. It could very easily become annoying.
You haven't watched this trailer, have you?
No, I try to make sure that I give my organic reactions to this when we review stuff.
Okay, well then you're in for a surprise for some things.
Don't tell me they're already overusing the dimensional pocket bullshit, aren't they?
Just wait. Banana?
Redemption is possible.
He's in love with you. Me and Chris, it's never going to be a thing.
I'm going to make a life in the other world.
There's another dimension. It's exactly the same as ours.
But better. Best dimension ever.
Dude, that's sick.
Bizarro world, hopefully.
Well, his dad's alive and a hero instead of a racist, white supremacist supervillain.
Okay, so Bizarro world then.
And his brother's alive and also a superhero too, so.
Okay, so again, Bizarro world.
I don't know if it's a Bizarro world, but just a world that because Bizarro World is very specific. You know, it's like
Right. It's just I hope they don't. Oh, I hope they don't speed run into a multiverse already. Because we're not even 3 full iterations of the new DC universe in, and we might already be establishing a multiverse.
well, multiverse is always going to be a thing, but I get
Well,
your point.
yeah, but yeah,
Your point.
the point is it took us 4 phases to get to there in Marvel, and DC didn't even get a chance to finish a whole universe before they are apparently speedrunning it. Fuck.
I don't think that's the case here.
Anyway, but
Yep.
We need to close that dimensional rift.
The condoms are partnering you up with our new agent, Rip Jagger.
Who's Rip Jagger?
Hey, fatty.
No matter how green the grass is over there,
Judo Master.
Hmm.
That's Judo Master's fun. It's super funny in Peacemaker. He's got little screen time, but he's hilarious.
Fair enough. But
Yeah.
you belong here with us.
We're gonna get Chris back.
You met your own self from a parallel dimension?
I also think the look of the other Peacemaker is supposed to be very similar to his original design. He's gone through a few different iterations, mind you, but
yeah.
I could be wrong though. It could be some other design they had for Peacemaker.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I suppose we shall see.
Banana.
Banana.
You're wearing his clothes?
You think I bought this? That's evil.
Hi, Mom. We're going to my secret room. You're not allowed to follow.
You must be John.
Uh-huh.
Jesus.
You're not that dorky.
Shut up, Mom.
Yeah, Vigilante. Fun.
James Gunn humor does work when it works.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll be interested to see when we start getting projects in the new DC universe that aren't directly directed by James Gunn. What those will be like.
It seems like a lot of them so far will be though, which I find kind of weird.
Is James Gunn doing Supergirl?
I'm not sure.
Or did he outsource that one?
I haven't looked.
Still think it's weird that we're getting Supergirl immediately following Superman's first movie instead of like at the end of a trilogy when David Cornsweet wants to retire.
Not sure I agree with that, but I mean, I do agree. Like after the first movie, that's a bit weird. I honestly think it would work if it was after the second one more so. And
well, either way, once the world is better established and we already have a reason to, relate to this particular version of Clark.
All right, Gen V season 2 of this trailer. which is actually a lot better than The Boys. I think we both have said before.
Yeah, Gen V actually does interesting things with the premise and is both the like world of Gen V and also the cast tend to be more likable than the cast of The Boys.
Well, I think the issue is, well, not really an issue, but I think the difference is that we're actually living in the world of The Boys instead of seeing the behind the scenes of the world of The Boys.
Yeah. It also helps that the characters in Gen V have an excuse for behaving like idiots because they're teenagers and teenagers.
College, they're college students.
Well, yeah, but they tend to be more inexperienced and more self-involved, and therefore their self-interested bullshit is more excusable than when grown-ass adults do it. Anyway, not sure if there is a food stuff other than Compound V that's like boys related.
Fresco. Yeah, season 2.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
But I did want to bring up, obviously, the actor who was playing, what was his name? Hold on. Okay. Chance Perdomo, who was playing Andre Anderson, unfortunately passed in 2024. And they have it as a plot point in the series to make mention of it.
Which is good for them.
Yeah.
They should be rolling with that.
Yeah. It is sad though because he was actually a phenomenal actor, and I really would have liked to see where he'd gone.
No, it's always sad when actors get cut down in their prime.
Yeah.
I mean, who hasn't sat around thinking, what would have Heath Ledger's career have been like post Joker if he had survived?
Excuse me. Sorry.
And how much better could Dark Knight Rises have been if the Joker was still the villain like the original plan was before obviously Heath passed?
I think even if they had still Bane, they were going to add scenes of having the Joker appear.
Mm-hmm. It also would have been nice to have gotten some follow up on the whole. One of Joker's biggest speeches was, "I think you and I are destined to do this forever," and then of course, reality fucked that in the ass. But had it actually gotten to pay off, it would have been cool.
Yeah. All right. Fresco.
Fresco.
Hey, Marie. You can't stay on the.
I also kind of respect a lot that they're. This is a lot more interconnected than most spin-off shows are, which is.
This is also true.
And they actually do it really well, I think.
Yeah.
And so this is taking place. Obviously, this is before season 5 of The Boys, which I think is the last season, right?
Yes.
Which
according to Eric Kripke, it's supposed to be the end.
Okay. Well, I'm sure they said the same thing or thought the same thing for Supernatural, and look what happened.
They did. He explicitly wanted it to be a 5-season show, but it was doing too good ratings-wise for them to do that.
I don't know if The Boys is doing that then.
It depends on whether Amazon Prime has more creative control over it, or whether Eric Kripke has more creative control over it.
But obviously, this is taking place after the events of season 4, where America is kind of fucked right now. Which,
Yeah. Well, yeah. Life is a son of a bitch sometimes.
But yeah, for anyone who doesn't watch The Boys, and honestly, I don't blame you because I don't want to watch that shit.
It's a cynical shit show most of the time. Yeah.
Oh my god, it's basically nihilistic. There was a coup performed by Vought, specifically the Soups, with the help of Sage, that allowed them to shadow control puppet the American government with a bunch of stooges in place. And they basically become it's basically a police state now, more or less.
Mhm.
And I guess we're going to be seeing how that looks from the perspective of within the world, more so than,
Mhm. Banana or Fresco?
Alright. Sorry, I was just looking at comments. Yeah. Also, I think again, kind of piggybacking off what you said earlier about the characters, they also seem far more likable as well.
Yeah, it helps that they're not sociopaths, unlike a disproportionate amount of the main characters in The Boys. Who are either sociopaths or the victims of sociopaths.
Yeah. Excuse me. Fresco.
Run forever. I need your help. You need to go back to school.
It was a mistake, leaving you. All of you.
This school, it's become a monument to mediocrity.
The new dean, he was at Elmira. Now he's at fucking Godolkin, so something's going on, but we don't.
I love this actor who's playing the new dean. He's been in a few things. He was in Legion. He was the interrogator to David in the first episode.
Mm.
I think he was also the priest in Midnight Mass. Again, he's like one of those actors that you see, you know the face.
I think you're right. I do remember him being in that.
Yeah. Again, he's like in that long list of like great actors that you'll see, you know the face of, but you can never remember the name.
Yeah, it's that guy / girl category.
Yeah. Hold on, let me see if
the unsung heroes of character acting.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let me see. Hamish Linklater.
Yep, that's it. Is he Scottish? That name sounds extremely Scottish to me.
He's American.
I'd be curious if his family hails from Scotland, because that name sounds like the most Scottish name I've ever heard.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff. I think. Yeah, he was Batman in Batman Cape Crusader.
Hmm.
Sorry, I'm looking to see what else we would have seen him in. You ever heard of a show called Gideon's Crossing?
The name sounds familiar. I don't think I've ever actually seen it, but I think I might have seen it advertised.
Oh, it's like a medical drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't watch that stuff.
No, I don't either. My mom did for a long time though. She was a really big fan of Grey's Anatomy.
Okay. Fresco?
No. Or Prescott, yeah.
You know what?
Vought is resuming a research program called Project Odessa that's spearheaded by Thomas Godolkin. And I need you to stop it.
We're all on the same side here. This is bigger than us. We need to figure out what the fuck he knows about Odessa.
For Andre.
Let me be.
Yeah.
I assume this is probably going to tie into the Black Noir twist if we end up doing some version of it in season 5.
No, it's. You do realize it's. They already have another Black Noir after they killed the original off, right?
Yeah, I know. I wonder if this project is going to be the like Homelander cloning motif or whatever the fuck. Again, assuming they want to do something with that from the original comic, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to do that or if they're going to kind of split that version of Black Noir's role between Ryan and Soldier Boy. Most likely, I think that would be more likely, given how popular Soldier Boy was and how much work they've done to set up Ryan's conflicted loyalties. They're probably just going to wind up using Ryan and Soldier Boy as a surrogate rather than actually cloning Homelander.
All right.
Let's go.
Yep. Come on, these piece of shit. There we go.
Very clear. This plan is crazy and I hate it. But I'm in.
You can all level up under the right amount of pressure. Marie, you could be the most powerful suit to ever come out of Godolkin.
More powerful than Homelander.
And now, see, I feel like I have. I feel like I should say Jinx because I do think they are at least setting up the possibility of the anti-Homelander contingency. Although I do think it probably will still end up centering on Soldier Boy and Ryan eventually.
So she can control blood, and it just showed that she was able to levitate someone, which effectively would be the bloodbending thing, right?
Yeah. Although how that works within the like quasi-mutagenic properties of Gen V, Compound V, I don't know.
It would be interesting if she could figure out how to negate Compound V within a person's bloodstream.
And we do know there's some precedent for that because of Soldier Boy's explosive abilities there.
Right, but what I'm saying with Marie, she could literally manipulate the person's blood in order to either extract or, like I said, negate it in some form or fashion.
Yeah, or break it down somehow.
Yeah.
Which just goes back to the anti-Homelander contingency plan plot point, probably. Fresco?
I need answers.
You want to know what Odessa means? This is how you find out.
Cypher believes I'm this weapon. Let's at least use it to do something good. Sabotage.
I want all of this to stop.
The time's come.
You're strong.
Yeah, again, I feel like if they started with this series more so, after maybe season 1 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, season 2. Soldier Boy was season 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the season that gave us Soldier Boy and started laying on the Trump allegories thick with Homelander.
I don't know. I just think this show's better. As
I
bitter
I think I think because this show doesn't want you to be scared of its characters, it wants you to be scared for its characters. Whereas The Boys has the problem of the ostensible main characters are Butcher and Homelander, and those guys are the type of guys you want to be scared of rather than scared for. Although I maintain that someone other than me could reach Homelander because he needs hugs. It can't be me though because of his whole anti-disability bigotry bullshit with Blind Spot.
I mean, I still think the motherfucker should be put down at this point. I think it's beyond saving.
Hey, you have Azula, I have Homelander. I want to try and save him, even though I know I couldn't because, again, the aforementioned Blind Spot disability bigotry thing.
I think you're fucking nuts, but to be fair, I've known that about you for years, so.
And again, like I said, you have your I can fix her thing with Azula. I have my I can fix him thing with Homelander. It is fair and balanced, basically.
Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, Azula has got something. Okay, there's at least some shred of humanity in her. Homelander, there ain't nothing there, man. There's nothing there.
No, but I think there is, because every time someone treats him like a human fucking being instead of a nuke, he does have those emotional connections. And if, for example, Soldier Boy hadn't, repeated the generational trauma with Homelander and that had actually, started the family motif, I think they could have gotten better. But unfortunately, Soldier Boy was too blind to not recommit the generational trauma, and that bridge burnt.
But man, I know that kind of personality with Homelander, and the guy wouldn't change.
I think he could. It just could. Like, as much as I would love to try to hug his traumas away, it couldn't be me because we've already seen how he reacts to cripples, and I would try to save you, John, but not if you're going to do that to me. So there's that. I still maintain that someone could reach him and should try, but it can't be me because we've already established how he feels about cripples.
Hey, Don. I think just for time purposes, we're gonna have to skip the Tron and Predator trailers for now.
Yeah, we'll move them to next week. But anyway, let's go.
Yeah.
Than the others. Embrace it.
This makes you one of the most powerful suits in the world.
I'm not any chosen one. Chosen ones are like Harry Potter.
Of all the franchises in all the world that have a chosen one motif, you had to go with the most insufferable one, did you?
Well, to be fair, given their age, that would have been the one that's kind of most well known.
But there's.
I'm not saying it's not stupid. It is stupid. I'm not going to disagree with you there. I'm just saying, logically, it makes no sense.
Yeah, I know.
I grew up on the movies.
I grew up in the shadow of Pottermania, just like every other millennial. I know, but it's still like the geek part of me is like, there are so many better chosen one motifs you could have used. Hell, they could have said the Matrix, and that would have actually kind of made sense for this setting. But oh well.
Hey, you want to hear something that'll make you feel really old?
You're going to tell me anyway, so go ahead.
Gen Alpha are becoming teenagers.
I knew that much. I'm not that much of an old fogey just yet. I know that Gen Alpha are well on the cusp of their high school years here.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, no, they were 14 as of like 3 years ago. So yeah, they'd almost be out of high school now.
Fuck.
I love that I was able to Uno reverse you there. You activated my trap card. Mirror Force. Lol.
God, you are such a fucking nerd.
This is not your first day. We have known each other for almost 6 years now. You cannot tell me you're surprised by this anymore.
All right. Let's go.
Neo. Fucking Frodo. Fucking Frodo.
Okay, never mind. The show jinxed me because they made the exact same point that I was literally almost word for word. I swear to God, I have not seen this. Well done, writers. You sufficiently understood the millennial mind to make those characters immediately cringe that someone made a Harry Potter reference. Well done, writers. Also Jinx, apparently. Because I literally mentioned it. I literally mentioned the Matrix before we got to that part. Holy fuck. Although, I will say this, and I know it's a controversial opinion, Bilbo is a better protagonist than Frodo. In the Tolkien Legendarium. Bilbo is a much more likable and relatable protagonist than Frodo.
I don't care. Yeah, I'm just not really into Lord of the Rings, so.
I know. Someday I will fix that, but it will not be today.
Like, legitimately, I tried to get into it when I was younger. I couldn't. I tried to read The Hobbit, and I just glazed over. Like, my eyes glazed over. I just could not get into it. I tried to watch
Try the animated movies from the 70s. They might be your speed.
I saw like a clip once, or I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just like nothing about the Lord of the Rings really hits me as much. I don't know.
Maybe this is a situation where that could be resolved if you watch lore videos.
I've watched some lore videos, and I don't know. It's interesting, but nothing that really grabs me about it. To be honest. Sorry,
I
don't know.
That is somewhat surprising, but not really, because I know the things that tend to grab you are not the kind of things that would be in Tolkien's Legendarium. Tolkien was a bit too old school for you, I think.
Yeah, it's just like one of those things, man. I don't know.
I think if they ever made a series of movies based on the Silmarillion, and we actually got to see Melkor's fall from grace, that might grab you. But
possibly
that's the only thing. That's the only thing of the Tolkien Legendarium that I think really fits your mold. But in any case, moving on.
All right. So this is something I just randomly stumbled across a few days ago. It is a Comic-Con trailer for Hyde, which is a graphic novel or comic series I'm not too sure on, made by Johnny Depp and Ridley Scott. Johnny Depp is in this short trailer playing Hyde. It's like basically Jekyll and Hyde from the perspective of Hyde.
Which A, that sounds cool, and B, that does sound like a role that Johnny Depp would eat up.
I watched this, so I'm not.
As a longtime fan of Johnny Depp's filmography, I still want there to be a sequel to The Ninth Gate someday. I want to see what Dean Corso did with his powers after the end of The Ninth Gate, because we never got to see what he and the Familiar ended up doing after the events of The Ninth Gate.
All right, Joey.
I wish I knew I used to know the technical name of the drug from Jekyll and Hyde, and I just don't remember it anymore. Or does the name actually even get fully referenced? I remember some of the things that Jekyll said were in the drug, but I don't think we get a proper name for the drug itself. But yeah, there's got to be some thing we can call back to that's Jekyll and Hyde related. I don't remember the name of the drug that actually lets the transformation happen. And I'm not even sure it even got a proper name. I think it was just a list of
It's never
ingredients.
it's never
Yeah.
explicitly named.
Yeah, because I do remember when I read The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde a long time ago, and I remember there being a list of ingredients for it, but I don't remember it. But it never got a full scientific name itself. So, in absence of
Hold on.
other,
I have something here.
Go ahead.
So Robert Louis Stevenson, who wrote Jekyll and Hyde, right?
Yes.
Was a heavy drug user, and he had a penchant for 3 drugs:
Okay.
hashish, cocaine, and opium.
So Coca-Cola.
I was gonna say we use hashish.
I was gonna say Coca-Cola because it's coca leaves put into a liquid extract, and it's given Robert Louis Stevenson's drug credentials. It's highly probable that kind of shit is what inspired him to make Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in the first place.
Shall we?
Coca-Cola.
Whatever.
I love that music. I don't think it really fits, but okay, I love that music.
Hold on. It's opening. It's like the opening credits. You know, those title sequences for people that worked on the production.
Mm-hmm.
It was not part. It's not part of the actual short, dude.
Mm.
So, your criticism was a bit hasty on that.
Mm-hmm. In any case, Coca-Cola.
Death to mediocrity, says the cupcake robot.
Dear gentle reader.
I don't know why, but I feel like. No, never mind. I'm going to save that until we get further into this short.
Okay. Coca-Cola.
It is time that I tell my side of the story. On Halloween Eve, A relentless melancholy enveloped me, for I realized I was the only living thing walking amongst the dead.
God, Johnny
Okay.
Depp, awesome.
Yeah, credit to him as well. This voice is distinct from his usual quasi Jack Sparrow voice. So well done, Johnny.
Oh, okay. Puff the Magic Dragon 2 or no, okay. Yeah, sorry. Jin Gray was all right. But yeah,
Coca-Cola.
well, I wanted to talk about what he was saying. I have not read The Curious Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Strange
I
case,
understand.
but yep.
Thank you. But obviously, I understand the gist, and I've seen like interpretations of it and stuff.
Everyone has. If you genuinely have never seen or been alluded to any of the versions of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, I don't know what kind of rock you must be living under, but it must be quite heavy. Like we're talking Patrick Star levels of living under a rock at that point.
But I just get a general sense that at least this version of Hyde here, right, is like not an embodiment of darkness, but something very otherworldly in a way, I guess.
Well, I mean, that's sort of what Hyde is. Okay, the premise of the novel that most people don't pay as much attention to is that Jekyll finds a way to or he tries to find a way to separate the twin natures of man. His idea is basically that there is a good side of human nature and there's a bad side of human nature, and that with the appropriate drugs, it might be possible to separate the good and evil sides of man's nature. The problem is his drug is incomplete, and so instead of separating the good from the evil, it essentially lets the good and evil. It lets the evil take on its own personality, and that's obviously where Hyde comes in. So when you are looking at Edward Hyde in the context of the story, you are essentially looking at the darker, repressed parts of Henry Jekyll's psychology, or Henry Jekyll's nature. Yep, Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
I saw that every grimy corner of the city was filled with listless, lifeless automatons. And I wondered why do they not all just kill themselves?
Well, that got topical real quick.
Yes, it did.
Mr. Hyde, if you only knew the half of it.
I dig the cinematography. Obviously, it's very like low budget, but it works.
Yeah, no,
like
it works.
It still has like a grimy, dark, atmospheric. And right now we're just getting like little glimpses of Hyde, but God, does it work?
Yeah, and also once again to praise Johnny Depp here. I haven't seen him give a performance this lively in years. I guess finally getting away from his evil ex there brought his life back a little bit.
Well, I actually did recently see someone make a mention of this. Like, people in toxic relationships look like when you look at photos of them in that, and then like after their breakup, or but even before they're in that relationship, they look very sickly, very unkept, very
But yeah, because it literally sucks the life out of you when you're
Yeah.
in that kind of relationship. And I speak for all of the men on the planet when I say this. It's good to have you back, Johnny. We missed you. And for the record, at least on this channel, we always sided with you. So it's good. It's good to see you bounce back, John. It's really good. I still would like to see you do a sequel to The Ninth Gate at some point, because that is my favorite of your movies. But it's just good to have you back, Johnny. It really is.
All right. Shall we?
Coca-Cola.
What do you want? What a beautiful dress. Shall we play some bridge? Mother. Oh. Can't play bridge, you have no hands.
Yeah, this is a really good performance, like genuinely.
Again, I haven't seen him this lively in years, which given the absolute just battle axe he was tied to there, I'm not surprised it sucked most of the life out of him, but it's good that he has it back now.
Yeah,
Coca-Cola.
hold on.
Yeah, sorry.
He's speaking to the, I want to say, pickled brain of his mother, apparently. And just...
Which would be Jekyll's mother then, rather than his, because Hyde doesn't really have a mother.
Obviously, I think he understands. You know what I meant.
Mm-hmm.
Which offers a lot of implications, both as Jekyll and Hyde. But I was paying attention to what he was saying, obviously, because it seems sporadic, which works for Hyde, as he's supposed to be the more, how to say,
primitive, animalistic side of Jekyll.
Yes, although he does seem somewhat intelligent, obviously, because of his speech and like how he's speaking. Though it does remind me of it does remind me kind of Van Cleef from The Secret Saturdays, if anyone's ever watched that.
Yes, actually, yeah. I know who you mean now. Yeah, but
I'm not going to give any spoilers because I do think if you can find it, watch it. It's genuinely a fun series.
Although, are you sure you don't mean Van Cleef from Generator Rex? Because I thought that was the villain's name in Generator Rex.
VV Argos. That's who I. Sorry,
yeah, I was gonna say, because I thought you meant Argos, and then I was like, wait, he said Van Cleef. That was the bad guy in Generator Rex.
Yeah, I meant VV Argos. Sorry, it has been a while.
I need to see if I can get that show on DVD. That's another one of those DVDs I want to add to my collection at some point.
But VV Argos, who had such a, for one thing, he was just a pure classic villain who would do monologues and have such a vocabulary, but also was genuinely a primal beast. Like I'm not going to spoil it, but
do you remember the live action like ads for Secret Saturdays that showed the cryptids in live action?
Yes.
I loved those. That was such cool marketing.
Anyway, well, it does make sense because like he technically is sharing the mind of Dr.
Well,
Jekyll.
yeah, he's Jekyll's evil half, so to speak.
Right. So he would have that kind of vernacular that vocabulary, but
Yeah, he's still specifically Jekyll's darkness, so it would still on some kind of paper resemble Jekyll.
right. But I think again, it's telling because he's such sporadic in the speaking, and like it's shifting between so many different emotions and things.
Mm. Well, it's also technically only half of a person, so that's probably part of it too.
Yeah. Anyway.
Geeking out with regards to the original novel for a second. It's really interesting because both Jekyll and Hyde suffer from being separated. Like, Jekyll slowly loses his sanity because he gets addicted to the drug that turns him into Hyde. And Hyde, of course, being kind of the animalistic half of Jekyll's nature, never fully manages to become a fully realized being in his own right. They both essentially suffer from being separated. It's interesting.
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
To avert my mind from turning upon itself, I fashioned a fearsome brew. Keep your trap shut, mum, silly boy. Oh. Back to business. I'm on to something.
This is so cool. I just, like, everything about his performance is so interesting to me.
Yeah, again, like you said, like we're getting more of the primal, but he's also, it seems like he's incredibly intelligent because he's also using Jekyll's equipment to make something.
Well, and that's always been one of the interesting things about Jekyll and Hyde. When Jekyll first takes the drug that lets him separate his evil out, he can consciously remember things that Hyde did or that Hyde did while he was in the driver's seat. But as the novel goes along and both of their sanities start to fray, the question is, was the separation in their personalities a result of their two personalities becoming separated, or was it just that both sides of Jekyll's life went to the shitter because he can't function as only half himself? So the question of whether Jekyll and Hyde actually are two different beings entirely, ultimately, or if it's just Jekyll's mind being so broken that he forgets that he was Hyde all along, so to speak.
Yeah,
Anyway.
the performance is really interesting. I feel like if I was in like a proper filmmaking class, this would be used as a study of, like if I was an actor or something.
Mm-hmm.
This would be a good study for these kind of characters.
I'm curious whether this is Johnny doing a character act type thing, or if this is him kind of going full on method actor.
Bit of both, I would say.
I want there. First of all, I want there to be a full version of this. Second of all, I want there to be a like making up behind the scenes thing on the DVD when there's a full version of this.
It's a trailer for a comic, dude.
Assuming that the comic does well, which it should realistically do, I want there to be a movie version, and I want Johnny to still play Hyde in the movie version.
All right, shall we?
Coca-Cola.
Did you think that I'd forgotten? How is that dog?
Okay, that's interesting.
The
two things I noticed. One, his eye is hold on. me try to find it real quick. They had a close up of his eye, and hold on. There we go. It looks like it's two pupils.
Mm-hmm.
And oddly shaped too.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating design there.
Mm-hmm.
But also when he says I miss that dog, which obviously again, the memories of Jekyll are coming through. And he seems again, it's just fascinating. Because there's such an interesting lead between the character of Hyde and Jekyll here.
Mm-hmm.
Which I know is kind of, well, I don't know if that's kind of the point or not, but
There's a lot of really interesting complexities to the Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde novel. It's one of those things that, similar to what they did to Frankenstein in the Universal days, they seem to have gotten rid of a lot of the actual baggage behind Jekyll and Hyde in most adaptations of it, unfortunately.
Hmm.
And I'm glad to see that they seem to be taking at least some inspiration from the novel here. Because like I say, they start by being the same person, but the more Jekyll takes the drug, the more the Hyde part of him takes more control and asserts itself as a separate personality altogether.
all right, shall we?
Coca-Cola.
Yes, I know. I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying. You think I'm stupid. No. Shush. It's not enough. A little more. Because it's dangerous.
I also feel like there comes with like the insecurities of Jekyll would also be amplified.
Well, yeah, because essentially Hyde is more or less everything that Jekyll represses. And as the novel continues on, he becomes more and more like Hyde because he can't function as the I'm sorry, I'm expositing about the novel again. But the thing about Jekyll, the thing that the point of view character, which is John Utterson in the novel, finds so fascinating about Jekyll and Hyde being revealed to kind of be the same person, kind of, is Jekyll is one of the most like benign and benevolent people he knows. And so the idea that the benighted Henry Jekyll has been taking this drug and essentially letting his repressed urges run wild in the form of Hyde is both fascinating and tragic from Utterson's perspective, because Henry Jekyll was this very morally upstanding gentleman, and the more he lets Hyde come out to play, the more like Hyde Jekyll inversely becomes, because he loses his ability to act as a high society intellectual because he's so addicted to the process of letting Hyde out with the drug. And depending on how you interpret things, there's a possibility that Jekyll ends up dying twice in the novel, because as Jekyll gets more and more addicted to the formula, Hyde gets more and more control of him even when he doesn't want to. So Jekyll ends up dying by the final transformation into Hyde, and then Utterson and the other character he talks to throughout the course of the novel end up killing Hyde because they think he killed Jekyll. So potentially Henry Jekyll dies twice, depending on what your interpretation of the relationship between Hyde and Jekyll actually is. Coca-Cola.
I guess I'll bring it up now because I feel like it's kind of at this point where it works.
Mm-hmm.
After watching this, because I did watch this first to see if it was worth us covering.
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely think that this kind of comes across a little bit Tim Burton-esque, and
It does, yeah.
It makes me think I really would like to see a Tim Burton directed Jekyll and Hyde movie.
I mean, it doesn't hurt that this stars Johnny Depp, and he's one of Tim Burton's most, consistent collaborators. But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Tim and Johnny do a live-action version of this, like a full feature-length version instead of just the short.
Yeah.
But Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola. Yeah, it's so fascinating, man. Like I'm so enthralled.
Mm-hmm.
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
And to my surprise, I was struck with a glorious vision.
Some type of LSD, whatever potion he took.
Yeah, the particulars of the elixir or the drug in question always are a little bit sketchy.
Well, no, what he made just now in the short.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He said he's struck with a vision. Usually that's some type of hallucinogenic. So
I thought he was just being figurative, but okay.
No, they showed a whole process of him making a concoction.
Right. No, I know, but I assumed the vision was a poetic turn of phrase, not an actual hallucination.
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
Descended down the spider's thread into the trench of hell. Contrary to the crass depictions, I found it to be a magical place, bursting forth with profound beauty.
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
The lower I dare travel, I'm taller than this. The more lovely and sublime it became. I saw the kingdom of plants, wherein the more there was fornication, copulation, the greater the abundance.
It's very interesting. Like we're getting really into his mindset. Hyde specifically, which I don't think a lot have done. A lot of property, like a lot of interpretations have done. Really,
like I said, a lot of the substance of the novel gets lost in adaptations a lot.
Seems to be the case for a lot of classic literature.
Yeah, I love the Universal movie monsters as much as the next guy, but they do tend to cut corners a lot.
Okay. Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
Valiance and radiance. I saw the kingdom of animals. You say out of my bloody head. Mother! Wherein the more savage and brutal, the survival dance between predator and prey.
Yeah, and that's another running theme in the novel. According to Jekyll's theory, the evil parts, quote unquote, of man's nature are not evil in the like capital E sense. They're evil in the sense that they are the predatory animalistic part of the human nature or the human mind. So this actually does fit nicely in with the motif of the novel.
All right. Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
The more exquisite, ingenious, and noble the creature. Then I saw the kingdom of man, each eye revealing a different London. In my left eye, I saw a city mire in the bleak misery of perpetual, cruel stasis.
I'm just genuinely fat. I'm. It's been a long while since I am genuinely encapsulated by something.
Mm.
Like I'm fully intrigued and just fully. I'm just watching. That's basically it.
Mm-hmm. I actually had an idea while we were watching this that I will discuss with you after the stream.
Mm-hmm. Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
In my right eye, I saw a city glowing with the eternal fire of ingenuity, bathing in the light of creation. It was then that I knew I was ready to work.
Huh.
Hmm.
No, I am so invested in whenever this comes out, I want to get it.
When is it supposed to come out anyway?
We got about another 30 seconds or so.
No. When is the book coming out?
They haven't said the date yet. That's why I said we have the 30 seconds. So it might. Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
Sorry, 20 seconds thing.
Yep. Coca-Cola.
Huh. Hold on. Let me. Oh, okay. I have the. Well, it doesn't say here. It says to pre-order. Hyde. So it's set in Victorian London and following the events of the novella Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. The story explores the life of Mr. Hyde after triumphing over his alter ego, Dr. Jekyll.
Interesting. that they're going with that take.
Okay, let me look up on Google to see if they have a date for it. Okay. Sorry, it's
I'm assuming your internet is being dumb again.
no, it's just it doesn't have a specific. It's not specified.
Dang. I hope it's not a case where you have to sign up for the Kickstarter or whatever in order to get it, because that's gonna
No,
annoy
it's,
me.
it's not Kickstarter. It's not a Kickstarter. It's just um, it's just like the pre-order it. You know.
But I'm glad Johnny Depp is using his free time to do interesting stuff. He seems like he's been on autopilot for a while, even before the whole Amber Heard of it all happened.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I'm,
also,
and I'm, yeah, I'm just going to float this idea again in case Johnny ever sees this. Ninth Gate 2, where we actually get to see Corso's evolution into a witch.
all right. So I guess with that, folks, I want to say goodbye, adios, aloha, avidazai, sayonara, peace, cheers, and
Shalom and fuck off.